How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore PPF and Tint, and today we are going to be installing some window tint on the back half of this Jeep Wrangler. It's a 2024, and we're going to be installing a 20% actually over all of the back windows other than this one roll up right here, right there. That roll-up window has a factory tint on it. It looks like probably a piece of glass was scratched or broken, and they replaced it at the dealership with a tinted piece of glass. So we're going to get as close to that as possible to match, especially from the outside. Never fully going to match the color, and maybe I can show that to you once we're done. Just the way that it works with a factory tint. So that window's going to look a little bit different, but we're going to get as close as possible, and a 20% does that great. There's definitely some stuff with this rear window that make it difficult to heat shrink, so we'll go over all that and the ways that I work with that. It's a little bit of a pain. Let's get going. Thanks.
It's a little transition for you.
Let's go ahead and get this back window cleaned and then apply the bounce pad to it so we can dry shrink this window. Alright, so it's leaving quite a bit of streakiness on there, so that's perfect. That's plenty of moisture to run the bounce pad across with. And I'm not so worried about the bounce pad across the top because we're not going to be shrinking this window across the top. All the shrinking is going to be done on the bottom, which is going to be a little bit interesting because there's lots of stuff to work around. But because we have this windows washer sprayer back here and these things in the way, it makes it very difficult to do any shrinking on the top. And then as far as the bottom goes, let's go ahead and trim out this pattern so that we can get it to lay on here and not run into all this stuff, including the bottom. All right, so as far as this goes, we want to just get this as close to the computer cut line as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and go up around this. So I'm gonna go around that window wiper. Okay, and then that should be good enough. This top part is not even really even be touching the glass because it's going to be hitting all that other stuff up there. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this laid on there, and then I will show you how what I'm gonna do to make my adjustments so we can shrink this. Okay, so let's get this in place. Actually, something I could have done was just gone, yeah, you know, we're gonna need that to stay stuck down a little bit better on the top, so let me grab some water. Go ahead and take this off, and I'm gonna put a line like this just right across there, and then we might as well take that down on the sides as well. Okay. All right, great. Let's get this back on here now. Okay, so that's about lined up where it's going to be once it goes on the inside. And now what we want to do is we want to get any fingers that would be up here, we want to get those to the bottom. So I'm going to pull right here, and I'm going to kind of pull like this a little bit. Definitely over so that this top gets tight, and then we'll take this over, and then all these fingers need to come down to the bottom. There's not much, right? Which is, thank goodness. That would really make this a headache if there was a lot of fingers in this. Okay, so there we go. That's what we're going to be shrinking. So that, see, I mean, look, this stuff, it's not even touching anything here. Well, I guess, no, it's not even touching that guy. I have pulled this so tight here that it's not touching anything here, and it's hanging off of the glass still. And that's great because we know that we got all the tension at it, or put a bunch of tension in there, and we got all the loose material out of that. All the fingers are now on the bottom. Okay, so now let's go ahead and heat shrink the whole bottom. We need to be really careful here in these areas because the film only shrinks on the top and bottom of the roll, the factory edges. It doesn't shrink on the part that's rolled out on the sides. So we need to make sure that all of the fingers stay out of this area, and we're only heat shrinking here, here, and then right there. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I've got my heat gun, I've got everything turned up. We also want to make sure that we don't put any heat in this part because that's already stretched tight. So I'm going to put my hand here and then shrink down away from that, and that my hand helps block that area from getting the heat on it. Okay, we want to make sure that we get this finger that was popping up right here down to the bottom, and then we don't let it go back over there. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and tighten up this bottom edge. Make sure that it's good and shrunk, nice and tight. Fantastic. And then we'll go ahead and heat shrink everything out here in the middle now, which isn't much. Fortunately, this window is really small and flat. Otherwise, this would definitely be a much more difficult install. And what we would have to do is heat shrink this bottom, then we'd have to drop the pattern down, stretch the opposite of this, and then put all the fingers at the top, and then we would shrink the top. So we would keep it just like this for the bottom shrink, and then we would drop it down until it wasn't hitting this stuff. Or we'd only be able to shrink into this area here, and with the washer sprayer there, it would really only be this area here. It just would be really tough shrink, or you'd have to drop it down till you were below this and well below these. Okay, so let's go ahead now and get this part shrunk down. Alright, let's take a look at this here. This keeps kind of popping back up. It's not really staying stuck down, but that might be just fine. Just want to get a little bit more shrink on that, and we're looking good. Alright, at this point we need to remove the excess, so we need to weed this. Okay, and then we need to get rid of this circle out here. Great. Alright, let's get over here and get this all cleaned up and get ready to put this on. So we are going to need to pull that off and get that out of our way. Not gonna do it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's give this a scrub-a-dub-dub. Let's get a little bit more moisture over here. Okay. Oh, that's got like a rubber gasket that folds outward right up against the edge of the blackout. Hopefully the film doesn't tuck underneath that, and they took that into account. And then hopefully that hole goes over that completely, and they don't want you to take that off. that's how I'm gonna roll with this, because there's plenty of area back behind this on the window where there's black, you know, it's hidden. So you can make this circle a little big and it would still cover the, you wouldn't have a light gap. So. Okay, and then there is like this thing here that pushes up against the glass that we might have to pull out a little bit like this and tuck the film in behind that. We'll see as we go along here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this very edge up against all of this plastic and rubber here. Okay, now we'll go ahead and mist that back down and we'll squeegee all this out, or off. Okay, take this side down, and then we'll take this across. All right, good overlapping strokes. Fantastic. Okay, squeegee down below that or behind it. And then this thing here, what I'm gonna go ahead and do with this is I'm gonna take the dry part of this towel and I'm just gonna wipe all of this off like that. That way if there is any dirt stuck around this, we should be getting it off with this clean towel. Like so. Let's check here. I'm gonna do one more swipe around this as well. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and grab our pattern, get it on here. All right, so in this circumstance, since it's a, you know, open window like that, or that you can open up like a hatchback, we're gonna go ahead and take the entire liner off, get a mist on there. Then we're gonna carry this whole piece of film over. Just grabbing on the film with my fingernails on the adhesive side. Okay, set this into place. See what we've got here. Okay, so it's gonna have to come down just a little bit like that. This is going to have to go underneath this piece of plastic and then behind this wire. And then this whole, great, they made that plenty big enough to go around that, but not too big to leave a light gap. Let's get this all to lay down in place. Okay, so this is definitely bumping into this just a tiny bit, which is gonna be fine. We're gonna be able to work with that. This piece is laying down, everything's laying down really good. That is bumping into it a little bit right there. We're gonna have to work with that as well. So, but really all in all, seems like really good fitment for this pattern. The film does appear to be just a little bit too far that way, and I'm not sure there's much I can do about that. Just want to make sure you're not leaving any light gaps, which we aren't, so we're just going to leave it right where it is. And then let's go ahead and squeegee this out. Normally I'd use the Blue Max for this, but I didn't grab it, so I'm just going to use my squeegee that I use on the side windows. And then actually I'll probably go get it just because it's easier to squeegee all this out with a lot of pressure with the handle and everything. Okay. Now I will go grab that blue Max and we'll get this squeegeed out all the way. This Jeep is, there's like no power anything in this Jeep. No power windows, no power locks. You have to use the key. The remote has no buttons. And it's like, well, I mean, what do they anticipate with this Jeep? Is this just a base, like a really base model? Or is this a model they expect people to, like this one's supposed to be for really for off-roading, so everything can get wet, like everything. And it's not gonna be that big of a problem for it. It's just kind of an interesting thing. I mean, I can't remember the last time I got into a car. I went out there and I'm looking at the key. Where is that key? Must be up there somewhere. Well, hang on, I'll grab it. So this is the key. No buttons. No buttons on it. You have to let the key flop out and then use the key in the doors. And then when you want to unlock the back doors, you have to reach into the car and reach around to the back door and unlock it. There's no button inside either. Very interesting. It's been a long time. Okay, so we've got this all pushed out now. And I'm gonna take this card here and this towel, and I'm just gonna bump these edges and get them good and dried out, because some of them are running into some stuff, and I want to try and get as much water out of it as possible. That way I can figure out what's going to be popping up. And then we'll get this all pushed down with the towel as well. Bump this circle out. It's definitely hitting here a decent amount. Let's see what we can do with that. You can kind of push it back underneath this piece of plastic and it pushes out then. Okay, well, that's good. I did really jack up this stuff on my card though, so I'm gonna have to reapply this Teflon tape type stuff so that the card slides really good without scratching. Okay, fantastic. Not too bad, really. So they, you know, I'm sure, well, I don't know. A lot of you guys that are watching these videos are probably newer to this, so you're not gonna know the old Honda CR-Vs, like the really old ones. Oh my gosh. Those windows had stuff all over the window, just like this type of stuff that you actually had to remove it in order to tint the window because it was out here and there was glass that you could see through on this side of it, and this stuff went down like this and around the window and came around to the windshield wiper. So it was like out here and then turned and came over. It's just, it was such a pain in the butt, and there was way more curve to it. It was just a nightmare. It just really sucked. So this is easy in comparison. Oh, I mean, but they don't need to be there, but...
Well, but he needs... The therapist that I was talking to, like, oh, you know, what is wrong? I said, oh, fuck. You know, I've never had this issue before. Like, what the hell? Why? And then I never complete the first task, and I never complete. And she asked, well, have you ever thought about just not running off to do the distracting task? No, literally that's never occurred to me. She's like, I agree.
Let's get this seat a little bit out of our way, because really we don't need any more stuff in our way, right? Normally I would just hold this in my mouth, but that's not going to work because I need to talk. Or maybe you guys just want me to shut up. I don't know. You let me know in the comments. Should I just shut up? You can just watch me work. That'd be so much easier, and I've got a ton of footage with that. My first year of recording footage, I didn't talk, almost my first year. And then I started talking, and I think I've slowly gotten better. But I have a ton of footage of me not talking while I was doing my job. It takes a long time to work in front of a camera and not block it all the time and make sure you're getting a decent angle on things. Okay, well, I went ahead and scrub that, and now we're just squeegeeing this out. So I went down this first side, and we're just taking all the rest of these straight across to the other side, and then we will push down on that side. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and take this down like that. All right, that looks really good. We're nice and clean. We got all this stuff in our way, which is super fun. It's the best. I've definitely worked on worse things, but you know, this is definitely in the way. When you find yourself in a Mazda Miata with a roll cage in it, oh boy, that's a fun one. A convertible, oh yeah, have a good time. Convertible hardtop or something, just take the top off. So much easier than trying to tint that thing. You get the soft top and then there's nothing you can do about it. Everything's really in the way then. All right, so we're just putting this on, rolling it out. I'm gonna get this on here, make sure that we're good from side to side. There was a gap there. And then what I want to do is go up as high as I can. Ooh, I really put some shrink on that bottom. So we're gonna have to push that out. Okay, so I'm just making sure I don't have any light gaps now. Put a mist on that. This definitely didn't need as much shrink as I gave it on the bottom. But let's go ahead and see if we can get rid of this guy. Okay, that's not gonna work great. We just wanna go with something like this and just take this out to the side. There we go, much easier. Much easier. Okay, great. And then hopefully I didn't get rid of my blue max. Here it is, awesome. We'll go ahead and push this down. Okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this tool here and I'm gonna push around on those edges and just get them pushed out real good. You can also do it with a towel on there so that you're drying it at the same time on that edge. Just want to be careful that you're not doing this and creating fingers to come up. It's much easier to make those fingers come up with the towel over it than it is with this part that glides really well across the surface. The towel makes it real grabby on the film. Okay, we'll dry this off. Make sure all the interior's dried down. Oh boy. I got a solid amount of dirt in that window. Boy, oh boy. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna show up at all, and I'm guessing it's not. But there is something. I may need to razor blade these windows. There is something all up in here. And it could just be dirt, and maybe I just need to wipe up there in the edge better, and then wipe everything down all the way around the edges. There's a little bit in here as well. So something is if it's dust, then it's extremely fine dust, but it's not, this is not salvageable. So let's just get that off of there now. Womp womp. All right, so on this wing window here, we'll go ahead and spray it down. Give it a scrubberoo. There was a little black dot right there on there. Pick that off with my fingernail. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and, just because we got all that dirt in that other window, I'm going to wipe all this down really good, because I know on the back window I wiped down really good around the edge. So that may have made a difference that we need to do on this one. Got to adapt. Okay. Okay, so I went across the top. I'm just going to take these down because it's just going to be a lot easier than doing like a whole bunch of passes this way. And then this one I'm going to come across and down this side. Oh, look at that. And my squeegee goes underneath this rubber, so we can get quite a ways back in there. And the outside rubber comes over like 1/8 of an inch. So we're really not going to have a problem with a light gap. It's basically like having blackout all the way around this. This side has blackout, and then this side has the rubber on the outside that's covering it. So that will work really well. And we'll hope that this is laid out correctly and that this is our window. Otherwise it's this one, but it's upside down. But it looks pretty, I can't tell. This area looks a little bit wider on the top. It's hard to tell though. Okay, set that in place. Let that bottom go in. We'll bring it over a little bit this way because I was bumping into the rubber right there. Oh, look at that. That's great. So first things first, when we go to squeegee this out, I'm going to hold this in place and I'm going to squeegee over this lettering here. And that's just going to help hold this material. It's like having a finger here holding it and having a whole thing here holding it. It just sticks really quickly to that. And then we'll go ahead and squeegee this stuff out. I'm being fairly gentle so that this doesn't move around. I'll move my hand up and really help hold that into place. Okay, great. And now when I look through here, this one's still a tiny bit lighter, but it's really close and it's as good as we can get. Okay, and I got a streak here from my squeegee. It's been leaving marks, leaving some rubber behind. Okay, and then we can go ahead and roll this up. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. When I'm looking at like the wall over there, I can see that this one is a little bit lighter, just a tiny bit. But that's really close. Okay, now from the outside that looks fantastic. So okay, let's go ahead and tint this side since the other side didn't go so great. Oh, you know what? This window, we don't use this very often, and I noticed on here when I ran my hand across that there is a lot of dirt on this glass. I wonder if when I peeled it back, I say we, but I wonder if when I peeled it back and sprayed it down, if some of that dirt got on to here. I didn't have that problem with the rear window, but that could totally be a thing. All right, so let's do this. So it is a good idea to keep these windows clean. Just gonna go ahead and break all the dirt loose with my hand here. Just a little something there. And we'll go, ooh, that's so soapy. So soap has just been drying on there and has just left a really thick layer of soap on that. Okay, and then we'll take a tool like this here that we use for our residential and commercial windows. And we will squeegee this all down. And we will see if that makes any kind of a difference. Okay, we'll roll this up now. You know, that wing window over there also didn't have that problem. It must have been a cleaning issue and maybe not the glass. It could have been the glass though too. So on the peel board there, being dirty. Okay, we'll set that there. And then let's go ahead and we'll scrub this glass and then we'll clean back behind around the blackout there. It really doesn't feel like there's anything on there, like any overspray or something that needs to be razor bladed off. I think we just grab some dirt from up above, although not much is coming off of there either. I don't know. I can't call it. Sometimes it just happens that way, but it definitely came from somewhere. I mean, there is some stuff coming off. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that all the way around. Okay, so first things first, we'll take that down this side, then we'll reach around this, and we'll bring everything across. Oh. Okay, one last squeegee across, and then we'll take this one down. Okay, great. That should be good and clean. We'll go ahead and put a mist on there. And then I'd rolled this up so that we'll start with the front here. Oh, I think. No, I did not. No, I didn't. Start from the back, sorry. That is totally what I did. On both sides, same way. Okay, and I'm just having the liner come off at the same time basically because we want this film to be able to lay in there onto the glass, and with the liner on there it's not going to fit up in there. It's going to just, the liner is going to bump this part and hold the film out, and we really want that liner, we really want the film just to go straight to the glass. Okay. Okay. Got all that laid down. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this tool again, and we're just gonna get rid of the bulk of the slip solution and the air pockets. Much cleaner so far. Yep, this one's gonna work out great. Should be able to see that many dots from the inside, which I did see on the other side, but it was even worse than I thought when I got outside because there's a bunch of this that's blocked right here. I can't see some of this. It's much easier to check that out from the outside, but I can definitely see that this one's not going to have that problem. So when you're going across the edge like that, it's important that you pick up and stop and then go back to the glass again. If you just do one long swipe, what you're gonna end up doing is creating a finger out here in front, and then you're gonna push it around to the side and it's just gonna keep popping up. So I don't do just like one long pass, because basically what you're doing is stretching that edge a little bit and then you stretch that around to the side, and that's just gonna be cause a problem. So I definitely like to, you know, come off the glass and then do multiple passes in that area instead of one long swipe across the top. Same thing with the bottom here. Anytime you're squeegeeing across the edge like this, you have to be aware that that's a total possibility to do. Okay, so we did our one pass with this. I'm just going to give this another pass just to make sure that everything is going down. Okay, great. Now, the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do is bump these edges. I can see there's a lot of water down here. So let me try just squeegeeing that out downward. There's still quite a bit, so I'm going to just take this towel and go straight into the edges. It's not a great idea to swipe them like this because you can definitely create fingers that then can grab like dirt and stuff from the edge. I mean, obviously if you make a finger pop up right here, it's totally possible it could grab some dirty water and take it up with it. So we don't want that. So just right out over the edge of the film, and then it dries up all the water. That gets that area quite a bit drier than it was before. Okay, we'll go ahead and try this off. Wipe the window down. All right, so we'll go ahead. Oh, I don't know. That like barely fits in there. Let's see. Oh, that's actually, that fits perfect in there. Just a little tiny bit to spare. All right, so we'll do this roll up and then we'll call this video good, because then we've tinted every window and had a successful outcome. All right, spray that down. We've got the window rolled down just a little bit so we can get that top edge good and scrubbed. Run over the rest of the window here. Great. Bring it back down just a little bit so we can see that top edge. And then we'll go ahead and squeegee all this. So we'll take this side down. And that is a felt, yeah, that's felt. So, okay, let's mist that down again. There's nothing I can do about that. So you're gonna wanna be careful with the felt, because the felt can hold dirt, and then when you go across it with the squeegee, it can flick that dirt out onto the glass. So what I did is wet that felt down. The other thing that you can do is roll the window down, cover that with tape, and then tint the window and then remove the tape, obviously. So we went ahead and we're squeegeeing this out. We went across down the side and then across the top, and then we just continue to take this all the way down, wiping the squeegee off each time it comes off the glass. We'll take that down. Now let's go ahead and take care of our edge here. And then we will go ahead and spray this down, come across, and then I also want to spray that down over and then down like that. And let's get a mist on here. I need to put a little shrink on this. So let's get to that really quick here. Just a very minor one. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and pull this liner down about 3/4 of the way. Mist everything down. Grab this with our finger. Grab this with our fingernail as well. Okay, let's go ahead and get this pushed into place. Now it's important that the film starts curling out this way down here. And basically what you don't want is the film to flip over the opposite way. We want everything, we want the liner or the film side staying towards the glass. If this was to flip over, take this and flip it this way, then obviously this adhesive is going to hit that felted rubber and pick up dirt. Okay, now we need to get this actually to go quite a ways over there. So let's see what we can do with that. I'm trying to make this a real gradual turn out of here so that we can tuck this in, because if we make it really tight, like a little turn like that, then that's going to crinkle up as we push this over. Okay, that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and get this lined up across the top. So something like that looks really good. And we are going to have a little kink there to clean up, which is fine, because I had that tucked way over there. not realizing how far they want you to go with this way with it. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna hold the film in place with my thumb here, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on that to keep that in place. Okay, and then we go over to about an inch of the edge there. And as you can see, this water is running down here and not going back in there, grabbing dirt and then running back out right here. So that's what we really want. That's the reason for not pushing out all the way to the edge, because we don't want it to go back in there and grab some dirt back in there. And we'll go ahead and take this up. And then we'll take this side up. Just make sure you stay about an inch or so above this line right here, because if you hit that with this thing, with the tool, you are going to do some damage there, and that's just going to cause another thing to have to clean up. All right, we'll go ahead and roll this up. Come on down here, and we will spray all of this down. Let's remove the liner. We'll get a little mist on the liner, or on the adhesive side. And then we'll get this edge nice and flat and angled. And then we'll start tucking this in. And we'll come across, we'll do the same thing on this side, and then tuck that in. Okay. Let's get a mist on here. We will take this tool here and push all this kind of down and out. Sometimes it's easier to do like I did there, where you take the film to the side like this, because we did do that heat shrinking down there. Let's take this stuff down. Now let's go ahead and take our squeegee here. I'm going to flip it over so I'm using this thicker side, and we'll go ahead and squeegee all this down and out. How's it going? Okay, and we'll squeegee all this down. You can see we've got a good kink going right there. Then we will take this stuff all down, across. So normally about 3 passes on the side here. 3 or 4 passes down all the way to the bottom corner and across. Okay, let's take a look at this now. We'll take a look at this from the outside, do an inspection. So there is a little bit of dirt here. It looks like that I might have picked up from that piece of rubber. And then we've got that crinkle here that I was talking about. I mean, that looks pretty bad. I don't know how it looks in the camera, but it looks bad, but it's not a big deal. That stuff will heat up and push right on down. So the dots here, we've got, you know, like an area of dots here and here and here. We'll go ahead and heat this up and push those out as well. Let's just get another good push over top of these to make sure none of that is just air. And then we'll give this one another push down as well. And then I'm also going to take this tool here and go right across this line that was the main crinkle part, and then go all the way off the edge. And then just remember, when you go over the edge, that you need to pull out with this tool and not have all this pressure on it on the edge of that film, because if you come this way across the edge of that film, you're going to crinkle it right up. So we're going back and forth, and then I'll go all the way out. And that is completely gone without any heat, but there are a couple dots here. So we've got about 4 dots that I need to touch up, and then over here there's more than that. But let's go ahead and clean that up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this a little more. I'm gonna put some heat on this. And this vehicle, because of the type of felt that it is, I mean, these might even be little pieces of felt. They might not be dirt. Although, you know, we did have some problems in that back corner window with some dirt, so it could be a little bit of both. This car's a really good candidate, especially after it's got some trails under its belt, or just some years then. This car is a great candidate for putting tape on those. So you roll the window down, you tape those felts, roll the tape on into the inside, and then you tint the window, and then you pull that tape off from the inside with the window rolled up. And that works really well. Okay, so we're only at 430 degrees. That's gonna take forever to heat this up. Okay, and then let's get us a little bit of heat on this. All right, we definitely got that heat is soaking through. Okay, now let's go ahead and push this stuff down, and then these windows that we did together will be all finished up. So I'm gonna go ahead and reach around in here, and we're gonna go, oh, that's on the outside. Let's push this dot down. Push that dot down. Small one right here. Okay, we'll get these two dots, push down.
This is peeling up.
On that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's weird.
Okay, and then let's push these dots out. It's really hard with these ones to be able to watch it while you do them. Just gonna hop up here and look out at these. Did you cut me out another one?
What?
Did you cut me out another one for that other side?
Oh, this back one?
Yeah.
Sure.
It had a bunch of dirt in it. Okay, so I'm just running over those dots till they get rid of their silver, and then they are nicely hidden. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but as I was pushing those down, those are all the felts that came off onto this tool. And so that is going to be a major problem with this vehicle. You're going to get a lot of felts in there, and I mean, you know, I've been doing this a long time, so I was able to keep that to a minimum. But this is tape those, just tape them, and it'll be a lot easier. It'll be quick, and I mean, all those felts coming off. Every time you bump that thing, you're going to get hundreds, if not thousands, of felts popping off of there. And spraying it down was a good call, but it could have been sprayed down from the top instead of just spraying down those bottoms. Down here where we sprayed off, I should have started up here and sprayed everything down, but skip all that really and just put some tape on there. We'd use just the blue painter's tape. Works fantastic. Okay, terrific. Well, that was the process of putting window tint on the back half of this vehicle. Hopefully you found something helpful there. If you did, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.